Ladies and gentlemen, with Zomboid on the outskirts of finally being released and all of the delays finally paying off, I couldn't help but think of all the reasons why this particular indie game has me excited for the zombie genre in a whole new way, why I have been following this game so closely. In a world where zombie games see you as the Rambo of the zombie apocalypse, Project Zomboid does something different in thrusting you in front of one very straightforward task: survive at all costs. So, without further ado, let's see the reasons why you should be excited for Project Zomboid. This is my 5 top reasons to be excited. Reason 5. There is no happy ending. Zomboid wants you dead. It wants you dead real bad, and if it can make you undead, well, that's just icing on the already dead cake. When I first booted up Project Zomboid a couple of years ago, a slow, scrawling text met my eyes. It described a world that seemed absolute and desolate. And at the end of the introduction, the words, "This is how you died," appeared and faded ominously. Right off the bat, Zomboid is unique in that you will die. Playing the game is not about finding the cure or saving your friends or your family. It's your story in the end of the world. It's how you survive and spend your final days doing so. Do you sit in your safe house and eventually starve to death as food has become scarce in the city, and venturing out only spells danger and inevitable doom? Do you grab your trusty shotgun, attract as many deadheads as you can, and go out in a blaze of glory? Or do you get bitten, but escape the horde, and slowly get sick and die becoming what you hated most? It's fun, it's scary, and every single time, it's unique. Reason 4. Zombies are a threat. A lot of zombie games make a promise of a disastrous world where the act of surviving itself is harrowing and scary. One where one wrong move could be your end and the zombies win. Where zombies are ever present, always around the next corner, and always ready to tear your leg off and eat it for breakfast. And then, when the game finally releases, you're a gun-toting war hero with a bad attitude, ripping through anything that moves without the slightest of challenge. But Project Zomboid is different. You are not a super soldier, you are not a seasoned veteran, you are nobody. Zombies are large in number, attracted to movement, light, and sound. Moving around carefully as not to attract the ever-present horde is your main objective in surviving. I can't tell you the number of times I thought myself safe and went to bed, only to have my character woken up at some ungodly hour by the sounds of slamming into the door in my safe house. Zombies had seen me because I wasn't careful and needed to leave, and fast. Grabbing what I could and making my way to somewhere new was going to be difficult, and sometimes it ultimately was my end. You see, I'm human and can run out of breath, but zombies are persistent and have the strength of undeath on their side. They will find you and they will kill you, if the other survivors don't get you first. Reason 3. NPCs. Sometimes, amidst all the threat of the dead walking and surviving unrelenting assaults from the undead themselves, you can forget that your greatest enemies could be those you trust the most. Zomboid, with its metagame and NPC mechanics, looks to bring this into game form. From being able to recruit NPCs, form relationships, and have the opinion of other NPCs go up and down depending on your actions, your very safety could be compromised from within. Perhaps one of your survivors has fallen in love with your wife or your love interest, and he and his brother don't like you very much. A scheme could be hatched to kill you while you sleep, or ditch you on a scavenging run to the zombies and return and praise you as a hero who sacrificed himself for the greater good, while the truth remains locked away within your cold, dead brain. Or maybe your followers love you, and you wish to never be put yourself in danger again. You could command the NPCs from the safety of your home, letting them know that when you go out and scavenge, who has what job and when they should leave. It seems entirely possible to play Project Zomboid as a survivor management simulation should you choose to do so. But keep in mind, the longer you remain safe, the greater the chance that safety will come crashing down, and your death comes before you're ready. Reason 2. A flexible modding system. Now, I may not be a programmer or a coder by any means, but one thing I know is that a lot of indie games have a long life because of its extremely active modding community. Minecraft, Legend of Grimrock, among many others, have plenty of fans out there creating fun and unique content for others to enjoy months and years after the release of the game. Even AAA games like Skyrim have the ability to do this, and Project Zomboid will be no different. In fact, modding is already an essential part of the game, with modders having created more food, weapons, farming, and entirely new maps for the players to explore and survive in, even when the game was in early alpha. Once the game hits the masses, the amount of custom stories and unique maps, and even creatures, I can only imagine the staggering amount of replayability allowed. Reason number 1. You are a nobody. You're a commoner who is not immune, who has no training in the art of war, and who can barely run for very long before running out of breath. The zombies are at their peak of dangerousness early on in the game, when your character is nothing but a civilian learning to live through what's been put before them. And that's what makes it so great. You have a clean slate and adapt as necessary. Perhaps you've been forced early on in the game to take out zombies at close range with a bat, and with constant practice, your skill in using that bat has gone up, becoming much more proficient with it and melee weapons in general. So, you're scavenging one day and come across a gun. Now, perhaps in another life this would have been a godsend, but instead you see that something as loud and obnoxious and quite frankly, you're not very good with. You'll stick with Sally, your trusted bat. A few months down the line, you're quite good at this zombie survival gig. You've got yourself a nice following and you decide that you're gonna go out and scavenge for some food that day. But lately, food's been getting scarce and you need to travel a good distance and in the thick of the city to find any anymore. You're in a market, the street outside is absolutely packed with zombies. You take what you can, but they see you. There's too many. Maybe if you had a gun, you'd be better off, but you don't. All you have is Sally. You have a choice. Fight off what you can with food in hand and hope you can bring it back to the group, or drop the food, lighten your load, and escape out the window. The group never hears from you again. This is what makes Zomboid exciting. You are an everyman put in an extraordinary situation. If you aren't careful, if you don't plan accordingly, if you don't weigh your options carefully, the choice you might make in any other video game may be the final choice that kills you here. There are no reloads, there are no second chances. Once you're dead, you're dead. And this is why I love and cannot wait for the official release of Project Zomboid to finally hit the masses. What I've known since the beginning is that this game is going to be very special in its own right. The alpha made quite a big splash a while back, and now that things seem to be wrapping up and Zomboid is probably only a few months out, we can really start to get excited for what's ahead. I've been following this game for many years and been deeply involved in its turmoil throughout the years. But now that it's so close, I'm ready. And you better be too.